Hi everyone, this is attorney Lillian and I am here today with your Tuesday tip. So today I want to talk to you about who U.S. citizens can file for. This topic is coming up again because I've had so many of my clients become citizens and have this question. They want to know, who can I file for and what is the process? So I thought I would do a video just talking about that. And if you have any questions, as always, put them in the comments. I do go back and look at those. First off, U.S. citizens, congratulations, you're a U.S. citizen. You've went through the process. If you were an immigrant, you went through the process of green card, and now you're a citizen and you want to know, who can I file for? I have all these family members that think I can file for them, but who can I actually file for? And you will be surprised. The misinformation that's out there about who U.S. citizens can actually file for, it is crazy. I've had people tell me that they want to file for their grandparents, that they can file for their uncles, or, and they're getting pressure from family members that are not in the U.S. and don't really know the U.S. immigration system, and they just want to know who they can file for so that they can actually start the process or let family members know that they don't actually qualify to file for them. So let's jump right in. First group of people that U.S. citizens can file for is, of course, their spouse, right? A U.S. citizen can file for their spouse. Doesn't matter when you got married. You could have gotten married before you became a U.S. citizen or after you became a U.S. citizen. You can still file for your spouse. Your spouse will now be considered an immediate relative of a U.S. citizen, which is the fastest route to getting a green card in the U.S. Okay, so whether your spouse is in the U.S. or outside of the U.S. is just going to determine the process that you go through. If your spouse is in the U.S. and came into the U.S. with a visa, it would be quicker than if your spouse came into the U.S. without a visa. Okay, so that is one of the things that you need to consider before you even start the process. And, when people come to me, that's one of the first things I ask is, how did your spouse come into the US? If they're already in the US, right? Because that tells me how complex the process is going to be and the steps that need to take place. The other thing to keep in mind is, if your spouse is outside of the US, that it's going to take a bit longer, right? Because now not only is USCIS involved, the State Department is also involved in the process. So the State Department is the actual place that the embassy is under, right? So the State Department is the one that's actually doing the interview at the embassy. USCIS is determining whether this person is actually your spouse, whether they qualify as a spouse, and then they send the case over to the State Department. So in that process, there could be delays, right? Because it's two separate agencies talking to each other. Okay. But if your spouse is already in the US and has a visa, and came in with a visa, you are only dealing with USCIS. If your spouse came into the US without a visa, not only do you have to deal with USCIS, you also have to deal with the State Department, so the embassy. So that's where people, say, oh, do I have to leave the US to get a green card? Sometimes you do, depending on how you came into the US, okay? So that's the first group that US citizens can file for, and that's their spouse. But today, if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments. And if you like this video, go ahead and share it. If you know someone who needs to hear this, go ahead and share the video with them. If you like what I'm talking about, like the video. And if you're watching in a place that you can subscribe and you do not want to miss any of my uploads, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And I am Lillian Chukura. I am the lawyer and owner of Lillylegal, where we help our clients get status for themselves and for their family using the U.S. immigration law system. Thank you. Bye.